Peace, blessings, and salutations. My name is Yarima Karama. Wanted to do a quick segment here. It's kind of like a follow up to the segment that I did on the Oscars and reparations. Got some inboxing. Actually, had a conversation today with a few people concerning reparations, and which was very positive dialogue. Got some negative inboxes from some, quite frankly, some idiots on my segment concerning the Oscars and reparations. Uh, some white people are they're funny, especially when they make comments like I had one guy respond back, "Oh, you're playing the victim, you racist idiot," which I kindly responded back to him, "Fuck you and the Oscars," because and I got a few more like that, which I kindly gave them basically the same response back. Because my thing is that that word victim gets thrown around so much now. It's like the new go-to word until we get to another word here in the future, and then they'll be throwing that word around. So right now, the new go-to word is victim. So, but I find it funny because a lot of times people they don't they don't study, and they've never really wanted to know Black history. And so it's easy for a person to say, which I got some inboxes, well, just go back to Africa. Well, that is going to be a plan, but at the end of the day, let's not forget you raped, robbed, pillaged the land, and tried to steal all the resources from Africa. Now you're quick to say, go back. Which I'm sure the indigenous people could tell you, go back to Europe, to them caves. So anyway, I wanted to touch on reparations because I think it's important, and I think that when you had a man of Johnny Cochran's intelligence, his academia, when you had a man like that who was actually working on taking a case to the World Court for reparations prior to his passing, which that is probably questionable at best. When you have that caliber of a man who felt strongly enough to take on the issue of reparations, I think it needs to be delved into. So, uh, first of all, before I get into what I think, and I want feedback I want feedback from blacks on this. I don't think whites can give feedback on this because you didn't go through our struggle. So I don't think that their feedback is even deemed necessary for this. I think that we are the ones, black in this country, are the ones who, because and this is why let's go over the definition and then you'll understand reparations. And this is what people should know. I think that sometimes people are just afraid to ask or bring up things because they think, oh, the powers that be will never get that. Well, that's a good likelihood, but it's kind of like playing the lottery. You're probably not going to win, but if you don't buy a ticket, you're definitely not going to win. So here's the thing. Here it says, reparations, the making of amends for a wrong one has done by paying money or otherwise helping those who have been wronged. The courts required a convicted offender to make financial reparation to his victim. Synonyms: amends, restitution, redress, compensation, recompense, repayment, atonement. So, the compensation for war damage paid by a defeated state. So, amends, atonement, compensation. I guess the issue here is that obviously there was a wrong done to us. When you talk about 400 years of slavery and servitude, and the brutality of that, and the documented brutality of that, this wasn't something where it was just, oh, slaves were owned and we treated them so fabulous and they were just so well taken care of. And no, miss me with that, man. So there's a documented history of the abuses, the rape, the robbing, the pillaging, the murder, the lynching of black people during this time period. So when we talk about compensation, compensation can be monetary. We're talking, obviously it's in the trillions, but uh, also compensation could be, because understand that we built this country. And it's another thing that irks me when they say, "Oh, blacks are lazy." Really, really? Because while Massa was sitting on the porch drinking lemonade, we were in them fields working. So miss me with that. We're not lazy. We actually built the country. We do more work. If you look at the landscape of DC, that's us. That's our work. So the thing is that when we talk about reparations, I think a good start. I think a good start that we could be talking about is no taxes. No taxes for Black Americans, for Blacks living in this country. No taxes. Why should we have to pay them? Because, it's funny talking about reparations, because if you don't pay your taxes to the IRS, they want their money. They want their money. So when you don't pay that, they're coming. They're coming to get their money, whether it be by taking property from you, whether it be taking your home, your cars, or whether it be incarcerating you. They're coming to get theirs. Why? Because you owe it. The corporation of the United States of America owes blacks in this country. Simple as that. So we could start by no taxes for, let's say, the next century at least. We could start by no taxes. We could start by free college tuition. We could start by free college for all blacks coming out of high school, so on and so free college for all blacks, period. Whether you're coming out of high school or you're 90 years old, if you want to go to college, it should be free. We can talk about free health care. These things that we should be get, since there was never any compensation. So miss me with the go back to Africa thing, because you haven't even paid for the atrocities that you've inflicted while we've been here. So and I'm just throwing some things out there, looking actually for some feedback. Obviously, the ultimate is to make a wrong a right, is to compensate financially. Bottom line. I'll just put it out there because I give two fucks what somebody thinks. Fair is fair. And I know that people will respond back in the negative and say, "Oh, you can't ask them for nothing. They haven't done nothing for us." Woo woo. Yeah, I get that. I get it. I get it. But it's kind of like this. It's kind of like the scenario I gave with the lottery ticket. And it's kind of like, if you don't speak up, you definitely got nothing coming. So, my thing is to make a right or wrong, because at the end of the day, you're going to make me pay for my wrongs. Whether it be prison sentence, or whether it be, like the definition said, whether it be reparations in the form of payment to the victim. So you'll force that upon us. So I think that that's something that we need to look more into. And if we had such an astute academia scholar and attorney as Johnny Cochran, and some others right now, some others that I'm not going to mention, lest they come up dead. So, but when you have an astute scholar such as Johnny Cochran looking into that, and actually working on that, I think it goes to reason, man, that it's something that we blacks need to take serious, and really make a push for. So give me your feedback. And to the ones who will call me a racist, to the ones that will respond back and say with the snide, silly remarks, I'll just give you your FU now so that you don't have to wait for it online. Peace, blessings, and salutations. Yarima Karama, man.